Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's live community event called AI Ready Workforce, How to Equip Your Team for the Future. I'm your host, as always, and as you know, I'm the social media content creator for Decktopus AI, and I'm really excited to have you both with us for this important and timely conversation. Um, for starters, we all know AI is transforming the way we work, obviously. But the big question is, how do we make sure everyone on the team, not just the IT crowd, is ready for that shift? And here's something fun right at the start. Just for joining us live, you guys can get 30% off any purchase on our website using the code 30webinar at checkout. So feel free to jot that down or keep that in mind. Now let's talk about today's amazing speakers. We're lucky to have two fantastic guests joining us. First, Raju Shrivastava, the founder of Big Data Trunk, a company doing amazing work helping enterprises upskill their teams in AI and data. Hi, Raju. Thank you so much for joining us here again today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for the wonderful topic and pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's really an honor to have you with us today. And of course, our next guest is someone you might already know from our previous webinars. We have Alara Akçasız, the CMO of Decktopus AI. Hi, Alara. It's always a pleasure to have you again with us for this webinar, and we are very looking forward to your insights about this topic.
Thanks, Nursu. I'm here as always this week, Tuesday rather than Wednesday, but I'm happy to be here. It's always fun to have chat about these things.
Yeah, our webinars, especially about AI, they're like really smooth and flowing, and really like to talk about this kind of topic. So I'm really excited for today's webinar as well. So today we're diving into why AI readiness matters more than ever, the kinds of skills that give teams a competitive edge, and what successful AI upskilling actually looks like in the real world, right? We'll also answer any questions you might have for us. So please don't be shy and please feel free to start dropping them in the chat as we go. So let's start with the big picture. Raju, if it's okay, my first question will be for you. Okay. From your perspective, why is it so critical for organizations to invest in AI literacy across the board and not just in like technical terms?
Yeah, that's a great point and great question. I think the AI landscape is evolving rapidly. I think there is growing realization that everybody's understanding is AI is here, it's happening, it has big impacts. That's a known thing. But I also want to just go back in history and talk about this is not the first time that AI has landed on the scene. In fact, this is what we call it's a third wave of AI. So if I may just quickly go back and give a little history, the first wave of AI, people may not believe it, it happened way back in the 1950s. There was an Alan Turing test done in Stanford, which did a lot of experimentation, those kind of a thing. What resulted in the first wave from 50s to 60s to maybe even 80s, if you were to say, a lot of algorithms, statistics, and a lot of these rule-based processes came into play. And there was a lot of progress, but there was a lot of promise as well, like what is happening today. There was a lot of hype, there was a lot of buzz, and it made a lot of things and a lot of analytics, reporting things came into play, but still it had too many expectations, and what resulted in people were not fulfilled with all their expectations, and that resulted in what we call as the AI winter. The second wave came in around 2000, 2015-ish, when really we got some huge amount of data. When big data in the scene, and actually we were having computing capability which can be bought at a very reasonable price. Companies like Google and all others, many of those found ways how to really capitalize that data, and then AI is powerful. Without data, as you can understand, as you know for surely, data is the backbone. It's this foundation for all of AI, and without data it could be meaningless, wrong, even dangerous at any point of time. So that was the second wave. Even it promised a lot. It gave us a lot of predictive analytics. It gave us a lot of things. What's happening right now in the last 5 years, especially the 2 years when the genie came out of the bottle, what I mean is ChatGPT was released by OpenAI, and that release showed the world that what can happen. So everybody's understanding the impact. There is a lot of hype. There is a lot of expectation. what my personal belief is, what we're seeing in the landscape, being in this industry for, especially the data industry, for 25 plus years, it's doing a lot more than what we had seen previously. But I think the expectation, the investment hype is there. So going specifically to your question, I think the realization is there that AI is here, but there is still some doubt and denial. There are companies and people who are just like, still it is there. Maybe is it going to fulfill the promise? It's not correct, and so on and so forth. The more sooner one gets around it, the individuals and companies, especially around that, they will be more successful. If you are not going to do that, your competitor is going to do that, and you don't want that, and that's going to be giving a huge competitive analysis. So that's why I think it's much more than just one person learning AI. It's about teams, organizations, and the risk of being extinct as dinosaurs. Even large companies can go extinct if they do not do the right thing. So it's very strategic, and that's why companies should be really, really focused into it. Yeah.
Exactly. And AI literacy is not just something optional anymore. I think it's really mandatory. And like you said, if you're not doing it, if your company is not like practicing it, someone else will, and you will just lose. And that's really something sad to see, I think. And this is like really important for today's companies. And what is your take on this, Alara?
Well, I'm um I'm on the same side actually. I think AI literacy, it's like money on the table. We see more and more new job titles in the industry that has AI keyword in it. So I recently met with a potential customer, and his title was Chief AI Officer in his company, meaning he was searching for, AI tools, AI solutions, and like AI agentic solutions for his company so that he can improve effectiveness and budgeting of his company. So I think first it's money on the table, so why not understand and learn how AI works. And the second thing, I guess, I mean, I don't guess. It's really the next industrial revolution. And we are the ones that experience the newest, latest industrial revolution. Just remember, like, um, the first time when like steam machinery came around, if engineers didn't learn about that, they would be back in the time that has like all understanding of technical things. So it's like the new industrial revolution, and if you don't understand how that works, if you don't understand the new technology, I think you will be like a boomer in the tech space. So why not learn AI?
Nicely put. I completely agree with you. And I really like where you two are coming from. It's really logical, by the way. Thank you so much for your answers. We all know that introducing something new, especially something as big as AI, can be met with resistance. So, Raju, once again, I'm asking you, what challenges have you faced or seen when rolling out AI training, and how did you work through them?
Yeah, so that's an important point as well, right? I think is massive. It's strategical. It's changing the landscape. Um, but I think, as I mentioned, there is still doubt and denial in pockets. And I mean, there is optimism, but there has to be careful steps which have to be taken in thinking. So we have seen that. It's interesting to see many large corporations which we were hoping to see jumping with both feet. Actually, that is not what we are seeing in the trend. We are seeing very smaller companies or pockets which were unexpected that's showing up. So it's a kind of various dynamics. I think there's doubt and denial which you have to think. What we have seen, I think, what are my suggestion to any company looking into is would be like, look at a 3 steps approach. You have to think at 3 different levels. One, and the first is the mindset shift. I think it's accepting that AI is here, and in fact, it is the mindset to even think AI first. It doesn't matter which role you are, what job you are doing. First, think how I can leverage AI to do some amount of my work, not 100%, but some amount of thing. But I also think like it's important to understand, respect your natural language, and just not blindly follow AI, right? And have that artificial intelligence, but your natural knowledge, skills, intelligence combined together. So that's the first thing, the mindset. The second is the tool set, which is there is whole gamut and plethora of tools which are coming out right now, which is natural. Whenever any innovation happens, the industry, this is a natural cycle of innovation. There is a lot of chaos, a lot of new small companies, a lot of different companies come in. We historically know what happens as the industry matures. Many of those companies will not be there, unfortunately, and some will merge together. The strongest one will emerge. So tools will reduce and be one, but this is right time. There's a lot more tools. So having the awareness of the latest, greatest, what is relevant to your situation is important. So that's the second. But I think tools come and go. So that's a less important one, but that's the second one. The third is the most important. I think it's the role and the domain knowledge. That's something you bring to the table by as an expert, as one who has the knowledge, has been in the industry, can correct the AI in doing things, and that's more important. But there is a lot of support which AI can bring in as well, like the way you all do with providing PowerPoint creations, right? I think that's a function, and that's a role which in many roles are possible. There are tools which are just focused on financial sector. There are tools focused in education sector. There's so many tools which are things. So learning tools and adapting to do that is a very powerful thing. So what we have designed, actually one of the workshops which we call as AI readiness workshops, which we practically think almost every single person, every single company should be doing it, and built almost like a similar approach, a 3-level consideration. And we think about like we give the base kind of a thing in that workshop to start with, like it's a base pizza if you were to think. You have the mindset training and some basic tools, the foundational tools are there, but then you can add the toppings, whichever you like, whichever is makes sense for your situation, whether it's the role, your domain, your sector, your situation, and you can add and adapt to that. But I think that's a structured approach to think strategically rather than randomly just going out searching a tool and thinking what you can do. Those are useful, but if you're really thinking strategically, I think that would be my 2 cents to add.
I think this is just really cool. Like hearing your answer just made me realize how important and some kind of luxury it is to be able to have training about this, like about AI readiness, because you have to be ready, like the mindset shift. That's amazing because you have to be aware of how you're using it and like the tool you are using, like you said. It is very, very important. And Alara, what is your take on this? What challenges have you faced or seen about this?
Yes. Well, um, by the way, the first and the third point that Raju mentioned actually are really correct. And those were the things that we experienced as a team in Decktopus. I want to give like a live case study here. I want to mention about your story actually. As many of our followers know, that Nursu is like the face of Decktopus, and she always on the screen talking about Decktopus, creating like Gen Z like videos, product walkthroughs, etc. When the AI hit, we try to shift how we approach videos. First thing that we did is to take Nursu and give her creative power to do creative videos. So we removed product walkthroughs or new feature release kind of task from her to AI. We just give a voice clone to the AI and created like product walkthroughs with the AI so that we can take this task from her plate. And I remember the first reaction she gave me. Okay, if AI will do my job, so what am I gonna do? Are you firing me? This was the reaction she gave to me. I remember it really well.
I
And
was so sad. I remember, like, what am I here for? That is my job. Like, that is not fair. I felt so bad, but then I'm like, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, they kind of have a point. I mean, we have to
yeah,
be directing this to some more like fertile area and like let AI
yeah,
do the, I don't know, lighter work for us. But yeah,
yes.
my first reaction was like, I mean, oh, I wanted to do that. That was my job.
Definitely. But instead of, doing those boring and repetitive, like straightforward videos, now you're doing like a whole creative long form YouTube videos where we can be like using our brain to, have like those audio hooks, visual hooks kind of thing. So now we have that off your plate and you focus on the things that AI can't do at the moment. So that was the challenge I think we had, and I think most of the companies have at the moment with AI. And I think the second point is the execution time. Like, for example, as leaders in companies, we have to be like very generous, and we have to push our employees forward to learn AI. But sometimes, especially when quarter ends and we like get that time where we need to be prepared for those KPIs and we need to rush things, uh, as we get to the end of the quarter, I see that all of the C-suite in Decktopus just don't talk about AI. Okay, just do your job. Okay, we handle the AI training next quarter, etc., etc. I think this is something that we experience at the moment. So maybe something like putting a KPI to this, like a KPI to the AI training would be kind of a solution. I'm not sure how to solve this, but at the end of every quarter, we look at our MRR and like revenue generated. And if it's below the goal, we try to focus on more tasks rather than those soft skill training kind of things.
Exactly, really fair. And I'm sure many AI companies are also dealing with this or dealt with these kinds of problems at some point. And it's just the perfect time to make another reminder before our next question. Our live viewers can use the code 30webinar for 30% off on the checkout on our website. Whether you're building your first training plan or I don't know, scaling your team's AI skills, I think this is a great time to grab what you need, guys. All right, question number 3 will be for Raju once again. Can you walk us through an example where AI training made a real difference, maybe boosted performance, helped the team solve a challenge, or even changed how a business operated?
Yeah, I mean, there are several examples which we can cite. Um, but I think the other point, I think AI has been surprising everybody. 10 years back, when we had AI coming in more seriously into the industry, I think everybody expected the jobs like the truck drivers and these things to be going away. It's doing very different. As it's maturing, it's making us surprised, and even the gurus have been surprised. And it's not that, but it's more of the information worker and the knowledge worker, which is getting impacted from the entry level at this point of time. And that's one thing we are noticing and observing. The other observation which we are having is like what we were hoping our fellow tech companies in Silicon Valley would be the ones who would be jumping in both feet into technology and looking and embracing in AI. But they are carefully optimistic, but careful at this point. What we get a lot of requests from them is policies, how to bring ethics, how to bring governance into AI. And that has been the theme which we see from them. But surprisingly, what I've seen is like the unexpected pockets. For example, we had a request from a real estate company. We had a request from a law firm. Like I was like, what do you, really y'all are jumping into AI more than what I was expecting the tech companies to be doing. But those are really amazing use cases and patterns, and they have thought through this. And I think what with AI is happening is everybody is that gloomy doom kind of a thing, AI taking over the world, and kind of the sci-fi, the Hollywood kind of thinking comes into play. Mind more of the negative points get a lot of the buzz. I still think that there is a chance of that, a very, very small percent of chance, but there is a lot more positive. And what we have seen in this pattern of different companies, which we are seeing, they're increasing their productivity, they're using the tools, they're curious about this. And I think AI suddenly become the great equalizer. I have heard about so many senior citizens who are trying to start using AI and even get into coding. Like, let me try into coding, which they would have never done before. Right? I think all of these things are possible if they're curious enough. They want to play around. They have done something in the past in their life. They want to really go deeper into this, and the AI is helping them. So I believe that it's surprising us very much, and a great equalizer for anybody else to come into the play, and that's a great opportunity for kind of a thing. So we have seen weird pockets or very surprising pockets where AI has been picked up, and they have done, I think they're seeing this as an advantage, I think, that this is our chance to really get in and break the tech kind of bubble or the monopoly which the tech has, the threshold, and kind of take advantage. So I believe I'm very optimistic, and I believe the AI is a great equalizer, and if used properly, can be a savior for people who are disadvantaged in many forms, actually.
Exactly. Like you said, from like senior citizens to like people working in different kinds of sectors, like even law firms and real estate firms. You just have to know where to steer it, like how to really use it, how to steer it on the right direction, on the right track. And Alara, can you also give us an example, like how it made a real difference in your own terms?
Yeah. Well, the AI training, for example, in Decktopus, in our team especially, we started with like, sharing with, our prompts, best working prompts with each other. Then we started to build like small GPTs inside ChatGPT to do some repetitive tasks and share with each other. This was the first thing that we started doing in terms of AI training. And as an outcome of this, I see that my team started to work more autonomously. And what I mean by that, they became more independent. Like the huge difference it made me, I mean, I'm the winner of this because it saved my time. Because we always have those, back and forth conversations. Okay, Alara, I made this plan. Can you review it? What about this post? Is it okay? And there is just this simple thing that I do. I take their text like or post, go to ChatGPT, ask if it's okay with my like criteria, and instead of doing this all the time, I just created a GPT, send it over to my team so that they don't have to ask me all the time. And we just do our monthly and weekly check-ins to review performance. Of course, I need to have an input on this, like we review performance together. But if there are like repetitive things that they need to ask me, I think it's nonsense at the age of AI. So with this training, I think we're able to own our time without the back and forth kind of blocking conversations.
Exactly. And I am also like, I'm from Alara's team and I'm in the marketing team. And the recent changes she made using ChatGPT, creating custom ChatGPTs really saved my life. Like she says, I used to nudge her all the time, like, Alara, can you check this? Can you check that? Can you see this? Is it okay? Can I use it? Can I shoot this? Like it was actually really taking a lot of time, both for me and for her. And this even small change made a huge difference. And this is just one side of the coin. I mean, it really does help and saves us a lot of time. All right. AI is exciting, but it can be also intimidating, especially for employees worried about job security. So, how do you approach those fears while still moving forward with innovation, Raju?
Yeah, that's a question which is going to be always asked into AI conversation these days, right? I think what's how is it going to impact my job and kind of a thing. I was fortunate and lucky that this question was asked me 2 years back, and this was not a common question in one of the Stanford technology festivals which we were doing. So a couple of points there I think I would highlight is, like, first of all, I think an excellent example of what you all have done, right? I think the leaders in the organization, whether it is any marketing department or any department for that matter, have to be very clear and decisive, and set the stage that this is here and this is here to stay. And so we need to do our best to really create an environment which is keeping the eyes open and looking the competitor, the trend in the industry, and kind of be open instead of being in the vacuum and thinking that we are doing all the things, right things. There is a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of change which is happening. So that's something, not to create a panic environment. That's the responsibility of the leaders. I believe that's going to happen. The classic question whether it's going to take my job or not, I think it's a very tricky question. I think it's, I mean, that is will be lying that if it's not going to take it. I think I'm going to truly say that. But the way I would like to answer this question is, like, if you think about a spectrum, like a whole spectrum of, at one side you have the highest level of technology, the tech extreme technologists, programmers, AI, machine learning experts on that side, and the other side you have the human elements of it, whether you're talking about jobs and things like where it is empathy, emotion, the human characteristics are the main characters. That's the spectrum if you look at it. What interestingly is happening, uh, I think these two are the folds which AI is not going so far at this point of time. It has taken everything in the middle. Everything in the middle is gone. Whether it's entry level knowledge work, entry level programming, entry level marketing, writing blogs, all that entry level is gone. I think AI is taking that very easily, and it is slowly, steadily moving and capturing more and more advanced skills on both the sides. If somebody is asking me or for what where I should put my kid into kind of thing, I would be saying two things: either go to either of the extremes. Either you need to be a very, very strong technologist who is really going to tame the AI, develop the AI, secure the AI. There are a lot of opportunities going to come in, right? But it's going to take jobs. Definitely, it will be foolish to not think that way. It's better to adapt yourself from that perspective. So that's one side. But I think the last frontier which AI will not capture, I'm not saying never capture, but it will take a long, long period of time, is the human threats of empathy, emotions, all of that. It's catching that as well. So I would say jobs like nursing, construction, counseling, all of that human, high-touch human jobs are the last frontier for AI. It will take a long time, but I have a fear that it will get there as well. But I still believe that the world will be much better. I think all this change, I think it's always there is a fear, and it's very huge. It's a big. We have to acknowledge it. But still, there's a lot more positive at play. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Exactly. I 100% agree with you. Nowadays, we all see that like many people, including myself, and I'm sure you are too, using ChatGPT for like mental health coach, role. And I think it is really good at that, but it can never really replace human sentiment and like reasoning. It could do regular reasoning, like logical stuff, but when it comes to emotions and all things related to human emotions and sentiment, it can never reason like a human could do. So, great answer. Thank you so much for that. And before we move on to Alara's answer, I would like to give you a last nudge. Please don't forget that 30 webinar code. It's going to go off on our website today when you use that code, and it's a little thank you for spending this time with us live. So, what is your take on this, Alara, before we close our stream today?
Well, yeah, I agree everything that's been said. I mean, it's gonna take some jobs for sure. But I think we need to encourage our team to be like maybe a dystopian thing to say, but be like an AI worker. Like you need to know how to sculpt AI and how to create like meaningful results at the end. And I think at the end, just giving KPIs like measurable goals to our team will be the thing that would take their fears away, because they eventually came to the conclusion that they need to be more productive and be more effective in the campaigns. And the way to do that is to like get beyond your imagination, getting outside help, a third eye view. So that's why I don't think like forcing AI to employees will work, but we just need to give them space to take like help from AI. And like we need to be careful with the language at the same time. We don't want to say, okay, create like a flow that will replace your job. Instead of that, just let's create something that would create more time to kind of language is important. And also, I think we need to go to like industry events, like the way it used to be. We need to be like environment and networking environment where people are excited about AI. If there are people around you and they're very scared of AI involvement in our life and careers, you get scared too. It's like the psychology thing. You need to be where AI is exciting.
Yeah, and it's because like people are really, I don't know, they have kind of like an attitude against AI, just like Raju and you said, because they are really, really scared and they're just trying to hold on to their jobs and everything, whatever they have. It's like an enemy waiting at their door, like waiting to replace them. I think, like you both guys said, it is very important to be aware, like in mindset wise, you need to be aware and just really know how to use it well, like use the right language, and just really decide on what part of your job you wanted to lighten and like take off the burden from your shoulders. I think this is the most important thing to do when you are like trying to get AI aware in your business or your personal life. All right. And guys, that brings us to the end of today's session. A huge thank you to Raju and Alara for sharing their wisdom with us, and to, of course, everyone here for joining our conversation today. These were all such great insights, and you could always leave more questions. I mean, if you missed our stream, that's okay. You can always stream it later on our LinkedIn page or YouTube page. Ask your questions there. We'll be happy to answer them for you. And we hope you're leaving today with some fresh ideas and inspiration. Hopefully, you're not scared anymore from AI or anything like that, to build an AI ready team. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you at the next community event. We can't wait to see you all, and have a great one, everybody. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.